everyone, and welcome to St. Mary's. My name is Clarisse, and I'm a CCO missionary, and I'm here today to share my story. I hate asking for help. It creates this form of vulnerability that I'm never comfortable with, a sort of debt that I feel like I could never live up to. I grew up in a Catholic family, surrounded by 6 amazing siblings and my parents, and sure, I'd ask them occasionally for favors like, yo, can you pass me that? Or can you get this for me? But never for actual support. I tried my best to be self-reliant in everything. And honestly, I didn't really mind it. There were a lot of things that I could do by myself, and if I couldn't figure it out, I'd try my best to ignore it. When I reached university, I still aimed for that self-reliant, independent life. I had a good act going that I was a good Catholic. I went to church, I prayed with my family, I did the faith studies, I attended all the events, but my heart was never in my faith, and I never really felt the need to rely on anyone, much less this ethereal being that I couldn't see. And then I caught Corona. Having Corona was probably one of the worst experiences of my life, which kind of makes sense given it is a pandemic, but my parents were both really sick, and I shared a room with them, and since Corona attacks the lungs, they both had a really hard time breathing. My mom would lay in her bed at night, wheezing to try and catch her breath, and trying not to cough because her ribs were in so much pain, while my dad would sleep upright in his chair so he could actually sleep without bursting into a coughing fit. I remember laying awake until very late for 2 nights in a row, burning with a high fever, and on the 3rd night, there was a huge sense of hopelessness in me and a feeling of dread of what was to come. I remember the terrifying feeling as a sudden realization hit me. My parents could die. As I fully digested the weight of this sentence, the overwhelming need to pray hit me. All I could think was, I need to pray the rosary. And so I did. I haven't prayed the rosary by myself in years, but in that moment, as I was praying, I could feel this peace and warmth wash over me, and I fell asleep that night, reassured that everything would be okay. I woke up the next morning, and first of all, my fever was gone, which is pretty cool, but there was this different feeling in me, one of reassurance and reliance on God's word and what I had heard the night before. I can't say that right after this night, I had a complete 180 and relied on God for everything. It's been a journey for sure, and I'm still working on it every day, but I can feel the difference. I choose to ask God to abide with me in my tasks, and the world doesn't wear you down as much when you have someone to rely on. Now I find myself stepping out in faith and being open to other tasks that I never would have dreamed of doing, like going on this mission. It has given me the opportunity to meet new, wonderful people that I never would have even thought I needed in my life. And most importantly, this decision has always allowed me to have something to root myself in. Even when I can't rely on myself, I can rely on God. I encourage you all during this Mass to step out in faith and tell Him what's on your heart. Hold nothing back and lay everything on Him, because trust me, He wants it.